So that's kind of, we're very process oriented, and then, the results will be what the results will be. But hopefully at the end of the day, we all reach our potential.
What's the biggest focus for this team in between the K-State game and now? I know after that game, Coach Campbell said you guys need to do a better job on detail. What do you think is the next step in this month?
I think it's detail, and there's a bunch of other minor things that, we just want to correct and understand. And I think that's another thing that this time does for us, is really going back and reflecting on ourselves as individuals and as a team. Where did we go wrong, and what's the next step to correcting it? So I think it's a good, self-evaluation, time for self-evaluation.
You mentioned that word, reflect. Coach Campbell said you guys spent the last week self-reflection. Brock said the same thing. I know they're recruiting, but what has that been? I mean, was that a task given to you from Coach Campbell to reflect, and what is that included?
Yeah, I think it was something that, he brought to our attention, and I think it was something that needed to be brought up. I felt like everybody thought that we needed to self-reflect, because if you look back on our games, a lot of it is detail and small minor things that we feel like we can correct, and now it's kind of hard figuring out where you are going wrong. And so we think that the biggest thing and the first step you need to do is self-reflect and try to understand, maybe it's not X, Y, Z, maybe it's myself, or maybe it's something else, so that's kind of what it's been.
Is it individually, or I mean, is it like you in the leadership council with like Brock talking about things, or how does that self-reflection happen, or is it more on, sounds like it's not as much film as it is just looking inside?
Yeah, I think it's self. I think it's player to coach, coach to player, coach to coach, player to player, culture, accountability, all those things. Just different things that I feel like people outside of our walls may not understand, and that's something that we take pride in.
With success, Matt Campbell's name is going to pop up in coaching searches. Is that something you guys hear about at all, or notice outside of the walls, and do you say anything, or what would it mean to have him sign that contract extension to stick around?
Oh yeah, it's awesome. I don't think we ever doubted him, and what his intentions were. Obviously, we're all happy that he'll be here and he'll continue to stay. And I think it's good for, if there was any speculations or rumors out there, I feel like it shoots it all down, and we can focus and move forward in the right direction.
Do you know anything about Notre Dame, or not know yet?
Not a lot. I know quarterback's pretty good. I've seen them off and on here and there, but I'm excited to dive into the film.
You ever watch Rudy? I'm sure.
No, I ain't seen it. I haven't seen a lot of movies. A lot of people give me a bunch of crap for that. So I'll be the first to admit I have not seen that movie.
When was the last time you were in Orlando? Have you ever been to Orlando?
Yeah, my mom lives in like the Miami area. So my grandma lives in Orlando. So, but actually the very last time I was in that stadium was at my old school at Ole Miss. It was our first game against Florida State, and they had just renovated the Camping World Bowl, the stadium. So that was the last time I was in that actually stadium. So it'll be cool to get back there.
You heard from your grandma yet?
No, I haven't checked my phone though, so I'm sure she's sent me something.
Is that kind of exciting, the chance to be that close to family? One of the brighter spots of being in a bowl game like that.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's bowl game ends and probably a 3-hour trip to where my mom stays. So that's awesome to be there and then just spend that time with them.
Do you like warm weather in December instead of being
I
here?
love it. I love it, and I love the fact that I love the warm weather. And thinking back last year, the Alamo Bowl, it being in a dome, that was awesome too. So I'm not a big cold weather guy, so I think Orlando works out good.
All right, great. Thank you.